Oh my God. The first hangover of the season officially. It's taken a while, but we're back. We're back on the podcast. And unfortunately, it ain't all good news. We got a wide receiver that hit in the transfer portal. A wide receiver that I feel could have been a major contributor to a less than stellar group. But he's in the portal. We'll talk about that one. And I want to dive into how important was this UNC win and what can it mean going forward. But we got all of that and more. We back for the first time this year. It's the Hangover, and we got you. Let go.
Need a horn in the drum roll.
Never talk to them boys that sat on them benches. I never talk to them boys that sat on them benches. I was in the game on 4th and inches.
Now it's time to go to work. What is going on, Florida State family, Seminole Nation, and the 863 tribe? It's your boy POLK, a.k.a. A-Lo, a.k.a. the goddamn truth. It's been a while since we've done one of these, but we back with a hangover. We got a bye week this week, so it's not a football game to look forward to. But there is some things to go over early in the week. But don't look now. Florida State's on a 2-game winning streak. But before we get into the little bit of news and discussion we got today, y'all know how we get down. Ring my doorbell. Dust your feet off and introduce yourself. And how do you do that? You do that by smashing the like button. Hit my like button before you come into my house. That's how we operate over here. Also, I'm going to give y'all a little bit more time. Get in them comments. So we hit this roll call up and then we're going to get right into what we came to talk about tonight. Again, quick rundown. We had a player hit the portal. And a player that I'm not excited to see leave, if I'm being frank about it. Some Florida State players didn't make ACC Players of the Week. We'll talk about that one. And then we'll get into exactly how important was the UNC game the other day. So let's get it. 17 people in here, which means at a minimum, we should have 17 likes. There's no reason why I should have 17 people in here and not 17 likes. 17 people, that's a small show usually for what we do over here. So 17, I need 17 likes. Let's get this roll call going, man. Noel Squad, Gator Hater, Mr. Wolf, Todd Pope, DF, Jose Ray Fitty, Florida State Love, Tyler Hedden. You Can't Handle the Truth, Terrence, Jeff with the $5, man. Always coming through. Jeff says, what's going on? We played almost perfect on both sides of the ball. Nice victory over North Carolina. Shout out to my man Jeff, as always, the MVP of the show.
My name is Jeff. My name is Jeff.
AJ McGully, what's going on? Ray 50 says, you surprised me going on tonight. Just rolled up a patty with a cold beer. Hey, I got time today, so let's do it. Why not? And appreciate the donation from Ray 50 with the $5. Let's go. Our Davius, Jonathan Adams, and John Shields in the building. All right, man. Let's go ahead and get into it, not wasting any more time. ACC Players of the Week. Dylan Gibbons made the ACC Player of the Week. And, of course, none other but the future FSU Hall of Famer, the guy who is becoming a legend on a bad team, Jermaine Johnson, and Dylan Gibbons make ACC Players of the Week. And Malik McClain made Rookie of the Week. That's some good little accolades for those young men. The Gibbons is a bit. I probably need to go back and see exactly how well did Gibbons play. I thought Robert Scott played an exceptionally well game. Gibbons had a penalty, so I'm a little bit surprised that Gibbons, of all the players on the offensive line, got that Player of the Week. If I'm just being honest, but congratulations to him. But again, I would need to go back and watch because I actually don't feel like he played the best on that offensive line. But that's just me. But again, Dylan Gibbons, Jermaine Johnson, and Malik McClain make ACC Players of the Week. FSU wins as a 17-point underdog. So crazy to me that Jordan Travis didn't make ACC Player of the Week. That is crazy to me. I'm not taking anything from Virginia's quarterback. So the quarterback, the ACC quarterback of the week was Brennan Armstrong. Again, not taking anything away from him. I don't know what his his stats were or anything like that, but I know Jordan Travis had 5 total touchdowns and over 200 total yards, 100 on the ground, 100 in the air. So I mean, what did Armstrong throw for like 400 yards or something? I mean, if it happened, it happened. But congratulations to him. There you go. Offensive lineman of the week, Dylan Gibbons. Defensive lineman of the week, Jermaine. And rookie of the week, Malik McClain. Yes, sir. What? Okay, go get it.
No, you did.
No, you get it. Brian Robinson. Okay. Okay. See, he always does this. He always does this when I go live. He ain't bothered me in like 45 minutes, but I guess now is the time to bother me. What do you want, man?
I want my toes.
Okay, go get it. I'll get it for you in a minute. Go put this in the garbage.
I didn't get it.
Okay, I get it. Oh man, see, lose track of thought. Lose my train of thought. Brian Robinson is where we were going. Brian Robinson. Let's go ahead and talk about that news. That news broke this morning. Brian Robinson has hit the transfer portal. And again, man, me personally, is a big deal to me. That's just me. You can try to spin it however you want to. But Brian Robinson might arguably be the most talented player in that receiving room, or one of, if he's not the most, he's behind Malik McClain. He's one of two. And yet injuries has seemed to derail him, and now, however, I don't know how hurt he was. Because I didn't know this, but after looking at some reports and all that, he actually played on special teams I don't know how many games this season. I'm not sure, but he played special teams a few games this season. If you think Williams is more talented than Robinson, try again. But so you can use them on special teams, but you couldn't find a way to get them. They're very similar to Ja'Kai Douglas, a guy that we've seen when given the opportunity to play receiver is a more successful receiver than he is a special teams player. You can use Brian Robinson on special teams, but for some reason you can't figure out how to use him in the receiving rotation, a rotation that everybody keeps saying how bad it is, a rotation that we keep saying we need an upgrade in talent, and yet a former high-level 4-star player, we can't seem to get him on the field. I agree with Montre. Best of luck to you, but I'll tell you what's really gonna piss me off. When he goes somewhere else and all of a sudden he's healthy and playing football, yeah, that's gonna piss me off. That's gonna piss me off. See, I don't. What you guys are gonna do here is because he left, you're gonna try to downplay it as if he wasn't or couldn't have been a integral part of this team. But the same guys who are saying he wasn't special, he wasn't that talented, they're the same guys that have been asking for Corey Wren for the entire year. Corey Wren, man, we got to get that dude on the field. Corey Wren is X, Y, and Z. You feel me? You don't know how good a kid is until he's playing football. Now, the injuries you can't control. But I've said this before. How hurt is a guy when you continue to use him on special teams? Travis J, he's hurt. Every time on special teams, he's on the field. This has become a theme with this team. We make excuses by saying that guys are hurt. Yet when you go back and watch, they're playing special teams. They're playing gunner on punts. They're playing gunner at kick return. Common theme. Just go back and watch the tape. So that's my issue. I don't know how good Brian Robinson is or isn't, or how good he will or won't be. But your receiving group is what it is. The same Pookie that we got last week, we can't count on week to week. Period. He caught 2 touchdown passes last week. The week prior, he dropped a pass that we luckily was able to pick up because it was a backwards pass, so it was a fumble and get into the end zone. And on the next possession, muffs a punt. Is Pookie Williams dependable? Keyshawn Helton, another good game. If Keyshawn Helton catches that pass against Jacksonville State, we might be a 3-win team. Wide receivers haven't proven to be dependable at all. And to tell me that Brian Robinson can't crack a rotation? It's concerning when he's been able to play on special teams, so he's not that hurt. It's concerning. So, we want to believe that, oh, well, talent will get on the field. Well, we've seen Ja'Kai Douglas be able to stretch a defense on wide receiver, and they've failed to use him at wide receiver. So, again, y'all can downplay it. I'm not going to downplay this one. It's an issue for me, but I do wish him the best, and I would love to see where he ends up. And just look out. We go somewhere else, and all of a sudden we start hearing his name on Saturdays. I won't say I told you so, but I will be like, interesting. Because, frankly, that wide receiver room could use all the talent it could get. That's just how I feel. That wide receiver room can use all the talent it could get. You got a guy in Jordan Young. Why didn't he hit the portal? That's my $1 million question. Why didn't Jordan Young hit the portal? He's been here 3-4 years, and I haven't seen him on the field once this year. Why didn't he hit the portal? I'd rather Jordan Young go on somewhere than Brian Robinson. Brian Robinson in one spring has made more plays than Jordan Young has made his entire tenure here at Florida State. I'm just saying. So they can't even depend on a guy that's been in this program as long as Jordan Young. You kind of can't depend on the Pookie Wilsons and the Keyshawn Heltons from week to week. Dustin Hill decided not to show up. We don't know what's ever going to happen with him. So a lot of people really believe he'll be here in January. I do not. I'll believe it when I see it. I have no faith Dustin Hill will be here in January. None whatsoever. And Josh Burrell, if you haven't paid attention, he's got a boot on his leg. Our wide receiving core is literally, I don't see much of Portier. He's on the field sometimes, but they don't ever seem to target him. The rotation literally is Malik McClain, Pookie Wilson, Keyshawn Helton. Whatever happened to Parchment, I don't even think Parchment played at all last week. You see what I'm saying? You see what I'm saying about this wide receiving core? And to say Robinson couldn't have contributed or his transfer isn't an issue, I just don't believe it. I don't buy it. It is what it is. Everybody's allowed to have their opinion. So that's just me. Hold on a minute. Okay, I don't want to see that. So that's just me. Anyway, maybe I've gone a little bit too long on the transfer than I wanted to. But as you can see, that kind of grinds my gears, so to speak. And obviously, he's going to do his best for him, but I just don't believe you couldn't find a way to utilize that young man in some way, shape, form, or fashion. 34 people in here, man. Hit the like button. Parchment picked up a fumble and got cussed out. And then didn't see the field against North Carolina. At least I don't think he did. Or maybe he lined up a few plays. I don't know. I'm pretty sure he wasn't targeted in any passing plays. So, wide receiving room needs an upgrade in talent, and losing talent is never a good thing, no matter which way anybody wants to try to spin it. But that's enough on Brian Robinson. UNC. How big exactly was the North Carolina? How big was the North Carolina game? Yes, Brandon. Yes, he was. After the game, he definitely was. How good, how big time was it? Well, I talked about it. I thought it was at that moment Mike Norvell's most important game because 2-4 is a lot easier to dig out of than 1-5. 2-4 is a lot easier to dig out of. And I'm gonna just go ahead and say this: they will be 3-4 come time to play Clemson. That's probably the truth right there. Um, so if you go, you're going to go into Clemson 3-4. This, I don't think the bye week could have came at a better time. I don't think the bye week could have came at a better time. The O-line coming off of its best game also has now another week to get healthy. Robert Scott could use this week to nurse his lingering injuries. Love Taylor, think he had a boot on after the game. Hopefully it's not too serious, but a guy that we are sick of seeing. I give props when props are due. And I've told people before, if you've listened to me, Babion plays well when he's at guard. He's a terrible center, but when he's at guard, he is usable. Well, he played a pretty solid game Saturday against North Carolina. A pretty solid game there. So the bye week is huge. You give a chance to get our secondary a little bit healthier. You played a clean game for the most part. I think they had 5 penalties for only 50 yards the entire game. Mike Norvell coached his best game Saturday, and arguably the most important game of his tenure so far. It maybe shouldn't have been the most important game, right? If you maybe win a few games before that, then we're not where we are. But 2-4, it's a lot easier to talk about than 1-5. You're going into UMass. You'll be 3-4. I guess where I'm going with this is you go into Clemson with a legit chance to be a 500 football team. And after starting 0-4, I really don't know if we understand how big that Clemson game, honestly, now I'm not going to say it will break Mike Norvell because the team still is looked at as probably a serious underdog in that game, lacks talent in certain areas. I'm not going to say that game's going to break him because you'll be 3-5 and you can still, I think losing to Clemson, I still think you could win 2 other games after that. I do. I still think you can finish the season with at least 5 wins, which is what a lot of people kind of predicted before the season. So they would kind of be on level with what the expectations were at the beginning of the season. The problem with that would be you lost to Jacksonville State. You could have legitimately made a bowl game this year. That's the problem. But I'm telling you, that game could make him. I don't know if it's not going to break him. Hell, Jacksonville State pretty much broke him. But that game can erase a lot. The fact that you could be 4-4 and all you have to do is go 500 direct, and Miami's extremely beatable. Boston College is going to be beatable. I mean, we'll see about NC State. Florida would be the toughest game remaining, but to be 500 and go 4-4 and beat Clemson in Death Valley. Yeah, that's huge. That would be huge if he was able to pull that out. And it all started, in my opinion, with the North Carolina game. If he's able to do it, I think North Carolina, is because it's not just that he won it. It's the way Florida State won that game. But I see a super chat. Before I continue, let me get the Jeff super chat. All I heard is how great Sam Howell, and now he's going to kill us, and we don't have a chance. Shout out to Jeff.
My name is Jeff.
Yeah, Sam, I mean, Howell really hasn't played well. Well, that second half last year, he came on. And he killed us on the ground this year. But even with that said, it's not just the fact that we won that North Carolina game. It is, and like I'm trying not to jump the gun because I'm still like this team is flawed. I see that was a great called game, but can they? The team is playing hard. Can the staff continue to show me that they can continue to call games like this? So there's still a bunch of questions for me, and I'm not trying to get in here and tell you that Mike Norvell is the savior, because I'm still sour on Mike. Can't go 0-4 and not and get the bad taste out of my mouth just because you won 2 games. But I will admit that the way you won that North Carolina game impressed me because I didn't expect it. I really didn't expect you to win it. And if you did win it, I was thinking something similar to last year. Maybe not jumping out to a 31-7 lead or whatever it was, but something crazy, a crazy type of shootout. Maybe we make like a Syracuse game. I figured if you won it, you'd win it like the Syracuse game. You make a bunch of mistakes. Maybe you jump out early, make mistakes, get them back in the game, hang on, kick a field goal at the end, something like that. That's kind of how I thought a win would look against that team on the road. The fact that, again, they use the word dominant too much, so I'm not going to say we dominated that game, but FSU controlled. After UNC went up 10-0, FSU controlled the rest of the game. By far the best team in every aspect. Defensive line, offensive line, quarterback play, running backs. They won every phase of the game Saturday and looked comfortable doing it. When you win like that, when you show that type of growth from one game to another, I do think there's some cause for some. Okay, they're figuring some things out. I expect a solid game against UMass. I don't want to sit here and say like I made that mistake with Jacksonville State after Notre Dame. I was like, well, we should go up there and we should throw 50 on Jacksonville State. So I won't do that. But if we could win the UMass game 31-, I would love a shutout. 31-0. But I'll take 31-14. I'll take 31-17 or something like that. You see what I'm saying? I just want to see another consistently solid performance. This team is going to go into Death Valley with a good amount of momentum and confidence. They're going to be feeling very good about themselves. And I really don't see a need I know we're a hurt bunch, but I really don't need to see a need to really dig into UMass like that. They barely beat a UConn team that I don't know. Anybody want to tell me last time UConn's won a game? When's the last time UConn won a game? UConn might be the worst football program on any level in all of America, and I don't even think I'm exaggerating there. So shout out to UMass for winning a game that you maybe should have won, but UMass isn't too much of a bump over UConn. So I don't really feel like looking at that game and taking that game. The players should take it serious. The coaching should take it serious. Me as a fan, I will not take it serious. It is what it is. We're 3-4 going into Clemson as far as I'm concerned, with a 3-game winning streak. As long as you stay healthy coming out of UMass, momentum, confidence, hopefully they have a good game plan. Again, you're looking at a game that could really make Mike Norvell. It could make him. And I know previously I was like, I don't care about the Clemson game. Beat your rivals. And I still kind of stand by that. But I never, at 0-4, I never fathomed that they would actually be in a position to win 4 straight games after that. And they are in that position. So that's interesting to me. Let me go to the comments, man, and see what y'all saying in the comments. I haven't been paying too much attention to the comments. We'll start after Jeff. They played all 4 quarters, so it was a big game. We only had 2 offensive penalties. That was huge Saturday. 6 on the importance level. 0 sacks. Honestly, I wouldn't mind seeing Gant anymore. I still have hope for Ronaldo Green. I think I talked about that on Saturday, Ardavius. I don't even want to see them rotate DBs anymore. That secondary, while it wasn't perfect, was probably looked the best it's looked all season. I think one of the biggest issues we have in the secondary is we rotate too much guys. Keep those guys that you had out there. Get some consistency and some cohesion back there. One of the key parts to the secondary that we don't talk about when it comes to talking football is the communication between DBs. Especially if you're going to be in the zone, especially if you got to have guys playing primarily in zone coverage, regardless of whether it's cover 3 or cover 2 or whatever the case. Guys need to be able to communicate like, hey, once he leaves this area, you got to pick up here, blah, 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 all of that. Well, the one way they do that, the main way you do that and actually have to limit too much overthinking is if guys, when they play enough together, they just know, right? When you play with somebody long enough, you know when that guy's going to kick that receiver over to you so he can go back to, like, you just know. You just know how your counterparts play their position, which in turn helps you play yours more effective. And I think that's one of the biggest issues with our secondary is we rotate too many guys. Get a starting 5 and get them out there, man. Stop every other series. We see 3 different DBs on the field, like very similar to what we do offensively with our quarterbacks. We rotate too much. Guys can't learn and get better if they're on the field one drive, off the field the next, or on the field one drive and playing next to somebody completely different the next, who has a different playing style. But good comment, Jeff. Or Davey, sorry. Jeff says Clemson has elite talent on defense. They absolutely do. They absolutely do. That's my biggest worry for the Clemson game. Again, I'm not saying we can beat Clemson at all. Not saying we could beat Clemson at all. But mainly because I don't know. I really don't think we could block them for 4 quarters. Really don't think we can block them for 4 quarters. Travis probably gonna get hit, but I also think they're beatable. I mean, if Boston College can stick in there and NC State and Georgia Tech, I mean, all these teams hung in there to the end, and NC State pulled off the victory. Like I feel like we can do the same. Now, this QB class for the draft may be the worst than EJ Manuel and Mike Glennon class. John says, thought you were taking the season 1 game at a time. Y'all not going to beat the Canes, BC, or NC State. Well, you don't know that. You probably said we weren't going to beat North Carolina either. So I know you're a Hurricane fan, so you come in here with the foolishness. But the facts are the matter. The fact of the matter is this team is improving, and I'm still taking it 1 game at a time. I'm not telling you this team's going to win 4 straight, 5 straight, or 6 straight. I'm telling you what if. And I'm telling you what I saw in North Carolina has me feeling like something is starting to click in Tallahassee. I said this yesterday I was on live with T2Y, and I'll say it again. See, the difference between my team and your team, John, your team came into this year with all the hype, all the expectation, returning the most starters, 14th ranked. Maybe you weren't picked to beat Bama, but at a minimum, you were supposed to compete and win the Coastal. And guess what? We got the same amount of wins on the season. Florida State and Miami have the same amount of wins. Ain't that crazy? Same amount of wins. Oh, we started the season unranked. Youngest team in the nation. Everybody knew this team was going to struggle this year. Look, I'm a fan, so I was overly optimistic. I can admit that. But everybody who knew football knew this team would struggle. That's the difference between Miami and Florida State. we're in an obvious rebuild. We're getting better. Y'all seem to be getting worse. You seem to be getting worse. So you might want to take that up with your fans and your team. But we on the right track. Oh, and by the way, our 2 wins are actually against Power 5 teams. Your 2 wins are not against Power 5 teams. So I think I've spent enough time on the Hurricanes. Team looks like they've bought in and that they believe in the coaching staff. We were struggling to run the ball against Clemson. I feel like we need to force them to run the ball, and I don't know if we can do that. I give us a less than that. To be honest, I give us a 20%. I said 20% yesterday when I was asked a very similar question. What percentage? I said 20. What up, Robert? What up, Pat? Do you think Malik McClain will be good? Yeah, I think he's good right now. He's a freshman, so he makes mistakes. I think he's a good football player right now. I sent you the PFF grades on Discord. Okay, let me actually have to open my Discord. Let me open it. And we'll even go over the PFF grades. Appreciate that, Tyler. Okay, I see him. We'll go over them in a minute. I don't see you on the Noel Productions Discord. Is that where you are? Whose Discord is this? Yeah. Noel Productions. This is your Discord. Oh, well, yeah, Noel Productions. Tyler sent them to me personally though, but we're both mods on the Noel Production Discord, so we're both on here. I just don't be active on the Discord like that. I probably should be. That's why you rip the hell out of the same group in practice all the time, so they get to know each other, right? Know each other tendencies and starts to reduce mistakes. That's why they got to limit the rotations, man. That's my personal belief there. They have to start limiting those rotations. I get you want to play guys. I get you want to keep guys fresh, but if the knowledge drastically falls between one guy and the next, like, and you can see it, like, because someone said Saturday that Sidney Williams isn't powerful enough or isn't developed enough, and I could agree with that. But you can see that Sidney Williams knows instinctually how to play the game because he's in the right places at the right times where he's supposed to be. Majority of the time. He's still a freshman, by the way. But when you watch Gant, do you see the same? Because I don't. And Gant's been playing football longer than Sidney Williams. And again, I like Gant, but when I see a drop off when you go from Sidney Williams to Gant. So what's the point of rotating them all the time? Let me ask you, what do you think happens if we beat Clemson? What does it do with the? I think if you beat Clemson, I think you get right back on the phone with Elijah Pritchett. If you're Alex Atkins and say, look, I know we started off rough, but you were seriously considering coming here until the rough start. Well, guess what? We're back to 500, and we just beat a team that, second to Bama, has dominated college football for the last, 6-7 years? They're having a down year, but there's still a lot of talent over there. Hey, we're maybe a little closer than you thought, Elijah. Like, that would be my game plan. I think it'd be a big deal in recruiting if you could beat Clemson. Not saying you can. I'm just saying if you did. Y'all remember that one Hurricane fan that thought Miami would beat Clemson last year? My man T2Y. Imagine if Miami. That's what I'm saying. They might want to worry about North Carolina. After North Carolina ran for 1,000 yards on them last year, you might want to worry about them again. Expectations and what they actually are. I actually picked them to beat North Carolina, though. I think North Carolina is an extremely flawed football team, and I think they are nowhere near the team they were last year. And I thought they were a little bit overrated last year, but they don't have those NFL players that they had last year. Miami should find a way. I don't know. It's tough, but they should. I picked them to win. Miami did have a decommitment today by one of their top commits. One of their top DBs decommitted today. But again, we're not going to make this a Miami thing. I just had to, let John Shields know there's levels. There's levels to this. Jeff says, we all know the Hurricanes and that quitting big. They might have already quit. We'll find out against North Carolina. But if North Carolina puts out a hurting on them, I agree with that, though. I think I picked them to win, but if somehow they come up and fall short against that team, I don't know how Manny's probably done after that. It would be weird if Syracuse started the turnaround. I mean, the fact that, no squad, the fact that they found a way to win that game I said it after that game, they did everything they could to lose that Syracuse game. And the fact that they found a way to win it, maybe that game did start. Maybe something clicked there because they did everything wrong. Muff punts, penalties. They did everything they possibly could to lose that Syracuse game. What up, Island Boy? Okay, shout out to the old squad. If you can, that would kind of be a key. But you would need to force turnovers, which we don't necessarily do a great job defensively. To beat Clemson, you would have to have some things go your way. Some early turnovers, jump out to a fort. Basically, jump out. If you could jump out on Clemson like we jumped out on North Carolina last year and put that ball in DJ's hands, and try to make him beat you. And then now Jermaine Johnson's got a road to the quarterback and Keir Thomas, and they can pin their ears back. That would be the ideal way for that game to go for us. We will not beat Clemson. I've been reverse jinxing myself since the Louisville game. Hey, feel you. DF says Norvell and staff out in South Florida recruiting this week. Watch the bake sale get hot again. This team is believing, and I have to give credit to Norvell. I've been very critical of him, but to start 0-4 and see the team respond, they are now is impressive. I thought last game was impressive. Syracuse game was like, I picked them to win, but I was like, after that game, I was like, oh my God, we won, but I'm like, we take a win, but man, it wasn't pretty. What they did against North Carolina on the road, I think that's Mike Norvell's first road win, by the way. That team went on the road. I'm not saying Chapel Hill's Death Valley. Hell, Chapel Hill's not Doak Campbell when it's rocking. There's not a stadium like Doak Campbell when it's rocking. But the point is, the fact that you went on the road and you found a way to not only win a game, but you were in control the majority of that game. And dare I say, dominate. Now, it was only a 10-point win, but I think everybody knows that last touchdown came in garbage time. A lot to be proud of, a lot to be excited for, and also some things to look forward to. Like, again, let's not jump the gun too much, but I can't knock anybody, and I can't knock you guys for being impressed and having some, newfound expectations, and because I do too. I'm like, I don't want to get too far ahead of myself, but if you just call the same game, if you call a game like you called last week and get the effort that you got last week, you can win some more football games this year. That's all I'll say. You can win some more football games. Old Nose Squad would have took it to Twitter. Old Nose Squad would have took it to Twitter. Bash the culture. BB, man, what's up with you? I got banned from Tomahawk Nation did you? Why did you get banned? Why did you get banned? You must have been talking trash in the comments. Jay needs to move back to Savvy, in my opinion, as well. The difference is we didn't. It doesn't matter. Yes, we lost to Jacksonville State. You're absolutely right. Our loss is bad. Our loss is bad. If that's what we're going to hang our hat on, then that's what we can hang our hat on. You haven't beaten a Power 5 team. Quite frankly, you're lucky we have the same wins as you guys. You haven't beaten Power 5 teams. We have, and you're kind of lucky that Appalachian State didn't beat you. You probably should be a one-loss football team. But I love you, John, and thank you for being here. I wasn't talking about you. He was saying that he was talking about the old Knowles squad, like the old players. The more bright future on Kevin Knowles. Ooh, you got a hell of a first name there, my man. Jacarius. John Seals, y'all hit that wide right. That's tough. That's tough. That doink shot. That's tough. But let's get into these PFF grades since Tyler handed them to me. We'll read a few more comments. UNC is up one game and down the next. Pattern says UNC takes the dub, but both teams are bad. Okay, y'all talking about that. What up, Nick? My Mondays, I'm chilling, man. I'm chilling. Had a good Monday. Hope you are too. Hope all y'all in the chat having a good Monday. In my opinion, to beat Clemson, we need to hold them to 21 points. Ugh. Has Adam Fuller ever done that? So you're saying we're not going to beat Clemson, but I hear what you're saying. I definitely hear what you're saying. Recent history says that that's damn near impossible. Hope this is not a one game thing. The hope is, again, you beat Syracuse and then you find a way to win another game. That right there in and of itself is promising. You will beat UMass. I'm saying it here now. You will beat UMass. So you're going to be on a 3-game winning streak going on to Clemson. I think that's some things to be, that momentum and confidence is a real deal. And that'd be a team feeling fairly confident going into that game. So can we finally agree and say it never was the talent we had? I don't want to sit here and toot my own horn and say I told you so, but it's funny when you call a good game, when you call a game to your players' strengths, it's funny how that talent can all of a sudden blossom or play effectively. That's all I'll say on that, man. Appreciate that comment, R.A. Nixon. So do I. That I would totally be an FSU thing. Play one good game and show what potential we could be as a team than how we did against JSU. Hurricanes need to win the conference title. Quick talking cap. They haven't won a conference title. I'm starting to believe all the no channels got to be blocked also. They haven't been popping on my feed. If y'all been in there comments talking trash, y'all might have got blocked. As you know, I don't go on any. I might listen every now and then, but I don't really get involved in the comments on the channels. I don't want to come in there and seem like I'm intruding, so to speak. But if y'all be in there talking trash, I could see how you might have got blocked on some of these other channels, man. What up, Noel Power? I can see how some of y'all might be getting blocked. I don't block people. You gotta come in here and really disrespect me for you to get blocked. But if you just come in here and give your opinions, as long as they make some sense, y'all know I ain't blocking none of y'all anyway. I can get behind splitting carries evenly between Travis, Corbin, and Ward. UNC linebacker says I agree. I'm definitely with that. Use the 3-headed monster. I'm definitely with that. Miami won't win a Power 5 game. Book it. That would be terrible. Matt Brown is going to have UNC ready to beat Miami. Matt Brown knows him some Manny Diaz. You think that with how the defense play, Fuller's job is, man, Nick, no, stop. Look, Fuller's got a lot more work to do than say his job is safe now. They played a good game. What up, Panama? They got Miami ranked at the bottom of the ACC. No, just joking, but it's nice to see we're not at the bottom of the ACC. And look at Noel Squad over here. He doesn't like the drama, but don't support Tomahawk Nate. I don't know why. But let's get to these PFF grades. Let's see what you sent me, Tyler. Let me. Okay, I just had them up. I just had them. I gotta find them again. Okay, there we go. Well, there's you. Where did my... How do I see... Man, I just had those up. And like just... Oh, there they go. Oh, there they go. All right. So we'll run down... Let's run down the offense. Jordan Travis graded out 93% in the offense, 90% in the pass, 84 in the run. They actually gave him a grade in run blocking at 60. Trayshawn Ward, according to PFF, the best running back in that game at an 83. Keyshawn Helton was your best receiver at an 82, followed by Ontario Wilson, 73, Malik McCrane at a 68. Robert Scott, like I thought, without rewatching the tape, was your highest rated offensive lineman. Finally looked like he was a little healthy, right? 65.9, which he struggled a little bit in the pass blocking there, but he excelled in run blocking, or was very good in the run blocking, followed by Maurice Smith. Bro, Dylan Gibbons was actually your second worst rated. How did he win? But he actually graded 83 though in the pass blocking, which is the best of all the offensive linemen pass blocking. And Bavion was by far your worst offensive lineman with 50s across the board. So I'm just looking at some of these other guys, glancing over some of these other guys. So yeah, what do you guys think about those? Before we get to defense, what do you guys think about those grades? Matter of fact, let me see if I can save them, and I'll even put them on the screen. Hold on. Can I save this? Yeah. All right. Yeah, I should be able to bring this up. Nope. Can't do it that way. Actually, I think I would have to... Yeah, I can't do it because it's not a... That's okay, though. What do you guys think about that? Let's go to the comments. Every time I see our defense play, I just think of what it could be with a competent DC. We are 2-2 in the ACC. Fuller not getting fired. The defense is improving. Adam Fuller not getting... Some of the grades make no sense to me. I would have... That's why PFF is... Analytics in general, man. I'm not saying there's not a place for them, but I am... Me personally, I am... Bro, why is it doing that? Okay, here we go. Me personally, man, I am very much on watching film and tape and kind of believing my eyes. I know some people really rely heavily on the analytics. I'm not one of them. And like you said, some of the PFF grades, when I would look at them, I'd be like, that doesn't make sense. But they do it. They have their formula and they do what they do. Polk, I read that Travis Jordan led the nation in QB rating this weekend. He should have been the ACC QB of the week. Conspiracy by the ACC. I'm with you, DF. I haven't seen that. They're not gonna. Nick, if we know anything about this staff, you won't see anything on Love Taylor. They won't release unless he's gonna be like out for the season, like Dennis Briggs. So if you hear something like that, then you know it's all bad. But most likely, if he's trying to work his way back, they won't release any injury stuff because they never do. They never do. Only test you need is the eye test. I'm kind of with you there. So it saved it, but the way StreamYard kind of works, I would have had to either make it a video file or actually, yeah. Actually, hold on. Can y'all see that? How's that look to you guys? That's still small? Kind of looks small on mine. Can I don't think I can zoom in on the Discord. Yeah, because it's even small to me, and I've got the big thing. I got the big screen up here. So if y'all can see that a little bit, I'll keep it up there, let y'all glance at it. But these are the defensive grades. And Gainer somehow graded the highest on the defense at an 80. Who's great in run defense, great at tackling, great at the pass rush, great in coverage, which I never thought I'd hear. So shout out to Amari Gainer. I mean, PFF says he was the best player on defense come Saturday. Jerry Jones somehow graded second. I guess after that one interception. Then you got Fabian played a hell of a football game. The fact that we didn't hear Brownlee's name is a plus for him. McClendon, look at there, sneaking up there. Lundy, whatever. I don't care what PFF says. I don't need to see Lundy anymore. Cure, he was terrible at tackling, apparently. Jamie was great at tackling, great at the run defense. Jermaine. Knowles, Malcolm Ray, Farmer got, 3 snaps according to this? Sydney, Deloach. And that's why I'm like PFF, bro. What are you talking about? I want you to go back and watch that game and tell me that Lundy. But maybe it's because Lundy only had 23 snaps. Deloach had 70. But you can't convince me that Lundy played a better game than Deloach. I mean, if you just look at the snap counts, Jermaine Johnson, Jarvis Brownlee, and Kalen Deloach pretty much were the 3 guys that on defense that played every single snap. So there's your PFF grades. Again, if you can see them good, I just kind of went down the list there. Let me take them off. Yeah, I mean, it was hard for me to see. So I get it. If you couldn't see it, that's why I kind of talked about it. Just like Warren Thompson, for some reason, he could catch at FSU. Now he's doing real good at Arkansas. He actually had some drops for Arkansas too, but for the most part, Warren Thompson has played well for Arkansas. So you're absolutely right, Jamal. Don't tell that. No squad has a vendetta against Tomahawk Nation because they blocked them. No squad, you gonna tell us why they tell us why they blocked you? I want to know the story on that. Explain to me how Knowles gets 61 in coverage and we only allowed 3 completions. Like you said, some of the grades don't make sense. There's one play that stood out to me. That's the Deloach stop. That go back and watch it. Deloach did an amazing job. Love it. Cleared out the guard in the center. Loach triggered downhill, filled the gap properly, hit the running back before he could get started. That was again, I said Kalen Deloach is by far the best linebacker I've seen this year on this team. Pookie needs to realize the staff believes. You know what, Jamal? Before I continue reading your comment, You kind of hit a nail on the head. Whether or not I'm tired of seeing Pookie Wilson is irrelevant. This staff believes in him. This staff thinks they continuously throw him out there into opportunities. So you're absolutely right. They believe in him. So I don't want to hear that, FSU staff picks favorites. I'm not saying people are saying that, but because if it was me, Pookie would have been on my bench. He would have been on my bench, but they believe in him. And to his credit, he answers. And I do think that Dupree, I'm gonna get back to your comments, No Squad, in a minute, but I do agree with Dupree. Pookie, he does bring something that I don't think we have a receiver that brings, that is that he can take the top off of a defense. He routinely gets behind defenses. And I think that's why they believe in him. One, he brings a skill set that we drastically need on the offense. And then I'm not saying he's a bad kid. He's definitely a good kid. He's working hard. You're a receiver. You gotta stop dropping the ball. No ifs, ands, or buts about it. I always talk about this stuff, guys. It's nothing personal. I'm just diagnosing or discussing your play. You have to catch the ball if you're a wide receiver. But No Squad says it's a long story. Oh, hold on, I don't even think I finished reading your comment. Hold on. If he have to get an extra work after practice routes in the jug machine, he needs to go hard. Okay, so I said that Derwin James and Cam Akers are the most, and most importantly, Asante Samuel Jr. Quit on the team. Derwin James and Cam Akers, and most importantly, Asante Samuel, they quit on the team. Anybody agree with that? I mean, Cam running behind that offensive line, I think Cam Akers gave every inch of everything, every blood, sweat, and tears he had. Derwin didn't stay healthy at Florida State. And Asante Samuel's another guy who could have opted out at any point last year, and he didn't. Now, Asante didn't play in the Duke game, but why did he need to at that point? Like, to say he quit, I'm not going to block you for the comment, but I don't agree with it. Pookie, your speed can't catch. We're going to need to show some major linebacker talent. Bro, I don't know. I don't think Basaint's going to happen, but they need to be calling Basaint every day. Randy Shannon and Basaint, I know that's where the relationship is with Florida State there. Randy's got to be – we need him desperately. We need Wesley Basaint desperately. What's up, E-Dub? Have to scheme Pookie open. Helton lately has been coming around and playing better. Hopefully he keeps it up. Yeah, I don't think nobody's agreeing with you there, which is code for quitting. Cam's a running back. Look what happened to Cam this year. Tore his Achilles. Out for the running backs. Every position's different, bro. I the same way I don't knock quarterbacks for transferring, because there's only one quarterback that can play, and you got to get your opportunities. Cam is a running back. I'm not ever mad at a running back. Running back might be, that's the most difficult position to play in terms of on your body, and running backs get paid the least in the NFL. Teams do not want to pay running backs. And you see Cam this year blows his Achilles. Like, never going to knock a running back in college for saying, hey, I'm on a losing team. I've given you everything I've had running behind this O-line. Opting out for a game, bro. Cam's good on my part. And Derwin couldn't stay healthy. Derwin couldn't stay. Like, I think you just chose the three wrong players there. Now, if you want to call Tamarion Terry, we could have a different discussion. At what point did he opt out? Like there's certain players we could have different discussions on, but those three guys, I disagree. I agree with Brandon. Cowboys pass on Asante Samuel. I understand not coming back your fourth year. Cam had a horrible old line. He took enough hits in college. Just play your bowl game. Again, every situation's different, bro. If you're playing for something, I agree. Play your bowl game. If you're playing in the Meineke Car Bowl, man, to hell with that bowl game. That's just me being honest. Are you playing in the Cheez-It Bowl? To hell with that game. But if you're playing in a solid bowl game, yeah, go ahead and play it. I mean, McCaffrey opted out for Stanford, if I'm not mistaken. Gator Hater, how are you doing on this fine Monday evening? It's just one game. You can play 3 years, but that's no problem with me. But play all your 3 years. You acting like we was in the playoffs. Look, no squad's going to have his opinion. I am not necessarily mad at it. I don't agree with it, but I ain't mad at it. I don't think that's a reason to get you blocked. But that's their channel. They're allowed to run it how they want to run it. They don't want to hear that stuff, so they blocked you. You know, it is what it is. You're one of those fans who believe kids quit because they opt out. What do you want me to do? Play on a useless game and blow my chances at bringing generational wealth in the favor of a fan. Amazing how there is still hope after 0-4 start. It's amazing what a couple wins can do. It's amazing what a couple wins can do. Winning fixes everything. He's got more winning to do because he hasn't fixed everything. He hasn't fixed his relationship with me. I'm just going to be honest with you. But what Mike did Saturday against North Carolina impressed me. Syracuse did not impress me at all. But I was like, man, I'm happy we got to win because 0-4, man. Man, nobody wants to go winless. We're unconquered over here. We can't go conquered. And we were on the verge of being conquered. Seriously. So I did not like the Syracuse win. I mean, you know, I didn't. That Syracuse win wasn't like, oh my God, whatever. But I was going to be happy about it, and I took it. But what we did against North Carolina impressed me because I saw for the first time 4 quarters, clean football, hard football, good foot. Like, man, it's crazy, but I saw good. I didn't recognize that team Saturday, man. I didn't recognize that team Saturday. The drastic contrast between Syracuse and that game Saturday. Again, we played a terrible game Saturday against Syracuse, and we just was lucky to kind of win that game. If I'm being 100% honest with you, from the muff punts and the fumble, a lot of things broke in our favor, bro, for us to win that game. It was an ugly game. And to come back the next week on the road against a quality opponent, I'm not saying North Carolina is the goods. I didn't believe they were the goods before the season because I felt like they lost too much talent. So to me, North Carolina is kind of the team I thought they were going to be. They're still, talent-wise, one of the top 3-4 teams in the ACC. That's still a quality opponent. And to go on the road and play 4 quarters clean, dominant. Again, I don't even like use the word dominant. I don't necessarily think we dominant, but we were in control of that game from the jump. And to play it like that, you got to be impressed. You got to be impressed, and you got to believe that maybe they're figuring something out, right? Maybe something's starting to click on this roster. Linebacker from UCF who's in the portal, he played for Randy. I saw that. Definitely could use him. I used to agree with y'all until I saw Uncle Lou's video on it. Norvell needs to find a way to a bowl game. If he can get to a bowl game this year, that'd be incredible. If we find our way to some shit, and at this point, who cares if we play in the Pinstripe Bowl, the Disney World Teacup Bowl. I don't care. He can just find his way into the postseason this year and win a bowl game. Like you said, 7-6. Oh man. And it is highly unlikely. But if you win Clemson, that becomes very possible. I like the playoff system. I think it's good that we have one. At the same time, I think it took away something special when it comes to bowl games. If we were good, Trayshawn Ward would have some national buzz. It's funny how UNC was a 17.5 favorite, but when we beat them, all of a sudden they're not good. Funny how they did the same thing. Remember, they were the number 5 team in the country last year, and we beat them, and all of a sudden UNC was trash. If we win a bowl game this year, Novella's Coach of the Year, I don't care what nobody says. Believe Beats says, can you play right when you in the transfer? I think the new rule is, you can play as long as before the season starts. Like, I don't think a kid can transfer mid-season to a school and play. But as long as you transfer before that season starts, one transfer, immediate eligibility. If you transfer after that, then I think you have to sit a year. So you get one I think you get one. I think that's the new rule is you get one free transfer. One free transfer. If somehow Norvell pull off winning a record, all is forgiven. I mean, you're right. If you can somehow pull off a winning record, and in the process maybe beat Miami or Florida, hell, preferably both. Yeah, I think the JSU loss would go away, so to speak. But hey, man, hit the like button. I'm looking at these likes, and again, my page is reloading. Give me a minute. But I'm looking at these likes. I got over 50 people in. So I got 50 people in my house, and 20 of y'all done came in. You ain't rang my doorbell. You ain't introduced yourself. You ain't wiped your feet before you came in my crib. Get my likes up, please. That's how you introduce yourself. Get my likes up. 52 people in here. I should have at least 50 likes. And I'll say the other 2 people are just haters who's watching. But for 50 of y'all, should hit the like button. 0-4 and a win enough games to make a bowl. That would be impressive. That would be one of the better turnarounds. Contrary to popular belief, I don't want Mike to fail. I do not want Mike Norvell to fail. I want him to be the next coming of Bear Bryant or Nick Saban or Bobby Bowden for that matter. Like, that's what I want. 0-4 didn't show me that. Hey, you got a two-game win streak. If you can somehow get this team into a bowl game, and not saying it's going to be easy, but damn it, the job isn't easy. Florida State isn't easy. Hey, man, come in here and shock the world. Well, at least Dustin Hill will hopefully. I don't bank on it personally. That's my personal opinion. I would love for Hill to prove me wrong. I've seen it too many times. Kid doesn't sign when he's supposed to sign. They said the same thing about Manuel Rogers. If you guys don't remember, Manuel Rogers, the D tackle from not last year's class, but I think the one before that. It was said that he was going to do a semester in JUCO to get his grades up, and he'd be at Florida State. And where is he? Ain't seen him, ain't heard from him ever again. You probably never will. Too many times. I'm not saying their situations are the same. I don't believe Dustin Hill's situation was an academic one. I believe it was something a little bit more personal. But regardless, that kid didn't come in the fall. I have a hard time believing he hasn't played football now. And what will be an entire year, I don't know. Do I want him? Yes. Do I think it's going to happen? History says it's not. But he can change that in order to get to a bowl game. I agree. Miami Miami is definitely a must-win. They're the worst team of the remaining schedule besides UMass. And again, if we're already counting UMass as a win, which I am, you're absolutely right. Miami's the worst team on the schedule. So you have to, even if you lose to Clemson, you got to beat Miami. That gets you to 4. I think Boston College is beatable. I know that's on the road at Boston College in November. But from what I'm hearing, they're like on their 3rd-string quarterback. So, man, maybe that game is winnable. And then you got to pull another big-time upset against whether it's NC State or Florida. Yeah, I'm hearing the same things. I just believe it when I see it is all I'm saying. Yeah, today was Mike's birthday. I would wish him happy birthday, but he got to win more football games. And he's only 40. Mike's a young head coach. He says, I bought the weed. I don't smoke. Bring some liquor to the crib, though. What up, DJ Schultz? Baton Rouge in the building. What up with you? What up, 226? Y'all got 5 more losses coming. Touche. The most likely loss are Clemson and UF. Got to win the other 4. That's even that's tough, right? And even that's tough. But, yeah. I mean, Clemson and US, those are the drastically more talented teams left on the schedule for sure. Okay, DF, I like the optimism. They want Destin and Coleman. If they can if they can land that, hey, you know that they were my friend conspiracy theory. I guess the reason why Hill didn't sign because parent and guardian didn't want the same with us. I don't think that's true. I've actually heard that his family didn't want him here, and that's one of the reasons why the holdup has been because once he turns, I think it's like something once he turns 18 or something, his parents don't have to sign off on the NLI or something like that. That is a theory out there. I've heard some other stuff. I honestly don't know. If I knew, I'd tell you because I'm not like the beat writers. I don't have inside sources, so I don't have any loyalty to anybody but you guys in the chat. I don't have inside access, none of that. So I don't have to play these games where I'm not allowed to report on certain things just to keep my, foot in the door, so to speak. If I knew something, I'd tell you. Now, the only time I don't drop stuff that I know, sometimes I do get messages from people, and I never tell you who they are. And they'll say, hey, man, this is just between me and you, but this is what I got or heard is going on. And then if they tell me that it's just between us, I won't say nothing. Even though I could, I don't. Trevion Williams, he's probably going to decommit. Mississippi boy. But, again, you go into that Clemson game with a chance to be 500. Maybe he sees something that he likes. I know you don't spoke, but you got packed house. Let's I feel you, Gator hater. You just got to improve each week. I believe you. Hill coming next. We'll see. Well, after we beat Miami, we won't get in the bowl game. Semester, I heard. Clemson is more worried about us than we are them. I think Clemson realizes that they have a kind of a piss poor team. But we're trending in the right way. But we just got to keep that trend. Heard the same thing about Hill. And you're from Baton Rouge, right? So now Hill's from New Orleans. So, but y'all same state. Hill's from New Orleans though. So, it wouldn't surprise me if his family want him to stay in Louisiana. But the good thing about that is, if that is the case, let's say that theory is the case, and that his family wanted him to play at LSU and not at Florida State, so they wouldn't sign off on his NLI. But guess what? And if it's true that at 18 he doesn't need his parents to sign off, he can just go to his school of choice, which I do believe is correct. The great thing about that, let's say he was even considering staying home because of the wishes of his parents. LSU's in such a terrible state right now themselves. That's perfect for Florida State as far as I'm concerned. LSU's going to be looking for a new head coach here very soon. LSU is in such a bad shape themselves that Dustin Hill might as well come on to Tallahassee, baby. Because quite frankly, we're probably in a more stable position than Louisiana State right now. Just saying. Trevion Williams is a must keep because of Quitter Williams. Oh my God. Would you rather make a bowl or beat both the rivals? That's a great question. That's a great question. And you know what? I'm going to say beat both the rivals. And I understand if you say a bowl game, I understand it because a chance to have winning games matters and a chance to have a winning record matters. I'm not going to say it doesn't. But I think turning this thing around is going to start on the recruiting trail. And we've seen it throughout the history of this state, Florida, by the way. Not this state. I'm in Hawaii. But we've seen that in the state of Florida. You can win as many games as you want. If you can't beat your rivals, you're going to lose key recruits. If we want to get the maximum, like if you want to convince a Marvin Jones Jr. and some of these kids, I think you got to beat Miami and Florida. I think that'll turn it around quicker than than get into a bowl game. I honestly believe that. We're talking about getting Wesley Bassett and Marvin Jones Jr. and Armel, like some of the guys we have. I think if you can beat Bassett is almost a must get at this point. I'm not going to say we get him. I think that's a hard sell. But Bassett was just at Florida, I think either last week or this following weekend. You know he has ties to Randy Shannon. Everybody thinks he's going to go to Miami. But if you can beat both Florida and Miami, why would Bassett not come to Florida State? And that's, again, at worst, if you beat Miami and Florida, that's a 5 wins. That's still, it shows that you're getting there, and those guys can come in and kind of be the bridge to get to the next spot. It's hard to convince me that beating both of those rivals isn't more important. But I feel you if you say bowl. You say bowl for you. I understand it. Again, winning matters. Coach O is a great defensive coach. Well, it don't look like it's working over there. I'm saying lose all the other games other than UMass. Yeah, I got to beat both rivals. I understand that you lose to Boston College and Clemson and NC State, but if I can show that I'm kind of the best team in Florida, even with a record that's subpar, if I can be the best team in Florida, I got a chance. And one thing we know about this staff, you can say what you want about this staff, they can relate to kids. Kids like them. I mean, they had Elijah Pritchett locked up, and then you started 0-4. I honestly believe if this staff can win games, recruiting is not going to be an issue with these guys. If LSU's get Luke Fickell as head coach, it's a wrap. Just saying. That'd be an interesting hire. I don't know if Luke Fickell's the right fit, but that'd be interesting. Coach O doesn't have the organizational skills to go a long-term successful head coach. I definitely can get the ear on where Wesley's going soon. I'll show up to a practice and see what I can hear. Okay, 226. What I'm hoping is that his relationship with Randy Shannon can kind of trump some of that stuff. I've heard also Miami's got to keep losing, and I don't know if I'm not saying he's going to end up here, but I don't think he ends up at Miami if Miami continues to look the way they look. 6-6 is highly likely because BC doesn't have a QB and NC State is at home. I think it's possible. Obviously, we can't go out there and somehow not show up against UMass. And that just derails everything, makes this conversation mute, right? It just you lose to UMass, and I might If you thought I was pissed off after Jacksonville State, they lose to UMass, and I don't know what I'm gonna do. I'll probably be on the first flight to Tallahassee because I'm burning dope camp. I'm burning everything to the ground. I'm you lose to UMass if you want to. There's no buyout Jimbo's contract. It wouldn't surprise me if he went to LSU. Is he gonna throw away that $9 million a year he's making? I mean, unless LSU's gonna match the money, our defense gives me hope in every game. We better not lose to UMass. Jesus help! I'm trying to tell you, man. You find a way to lose that UMass game. Bowl assumes Miami, BC, NC State, and Clemson. Clemson win plus a bowl. Well, I mean, but you said lose every game, with the exception of Miami and BC. So we got to be fair and use that same situation for your bowl game, right? Bowl game means you beat Clemson, you beat Boston College, and you beat NC State. That gets you beat UMass. That gives you 3 games. You beat Clemson gives you 4. NC State, Boston College. That gets you a bowl game, but you lose to Miami and Florida. So we gotta have the situations fair. So the bowl game means you win all those games, but you lose the 2 rivals. The 2 rivals means you win the 2 rival games, but you lose the other games. That's the fair comparison. At least you can match it. They have money to autocorrect. I hate my phone. LSU has the money. If LSU can match, I'm not saying LSU doesn't have money. I'm saying, are they willing to give Jimbo that? I miscalculated. Yeah, okay. I'm saying, are they willing to give him a 10-year, $9 million? I don't know. I'm not saying they don't have the money to. I'm saying, are they willing to? We have a better relationship with Sabbath. Sabbath Joseph is on the staff who FSU picked up. He was his position coach last 3 years at Central. They have a great relationship. Okay. I forgot about Sabbath, but just right. Sabbath Joseph is on the staff. Is a South Florida guy. So Randy and Joseph on him. That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. And he's a huge position of need. I have no faith in Marv to get him. But you got to win some games, and maybe you can convince Saint to come on over, man, because we need him. We need him. And look at that. You guys did the thing. I don't have to talk about likes anymore because I got more likes than I got people in the chat. So good stuff. Good stuff. Favorite game from Saturday. Man, there was some good games Saturday, wasn't there? There was, Alabama, Texas A&M. The 2 early games, Arkansas, Ole Miss, Texas, Oklahoma. There were some good games Saturday. I would say the game that I paid the most attention to was Ole Miss and Arkansas, mainly because our game was coming on next. That's one of the reasons, but also I think Matt Carroll is the goods over there at Ole Miss. I really like Matt Carroll. That Syracuse receiver was in the portal. What's not happening, John? Hopefully UN can hire Gruden after he gets fired for his emails. Drew Brees could come and be QB coach. Go UNC at John Shields. Do you think the first 2 UNC drives being cut improved our view of the team? Yeah, I didn't get to see the first drive. I don't know. Hey, they still went up 10-0, and I wasn't feeling great. I didn't get to see the first drive for sure. I know I missed. I think when I watched it, it was 3-0. So I think they only had a drive by the time I was able to watch the game. But no, I don't think it skews my view. I think they still went down 10-0 and still came back and again handled that game pretty comfortably. So AJ over Jake Garcia. Hopefully that's a great battle we get to watch going forward. For sure. And Gruden got resigned. He ain't going nowhere. And Miami fans just trying to troll, but only wins came again. I talked about that, Dupree. John, to John's credit, he's in here damn near every show. Him and the other troll, Dennis. And they're also probably two like my first subscribers. So I keep them around. They're like that, they're like the crackhead uncle at the family get together. You keep your eye on him, make sure he ain't stealing nothing, but you keep him around. Feed him, let him get a quality meal. We keep crackhead uncles around, but just keep an eye on them, y'all. Just keep an eye on them. They played a very clean game, Jen. 5 penalties, 50 yards. Only two of those on the offense. So my cousin is the starting tight end, number 28 at NC State, and was at my crib watching Texas versus Oklahoma. Penalty definitely was a major improvement. Jordan Travis keeps improving, but put talent around him as we can. Or do you think they go after a veteran quarterback again in the portal? Well, at this point, if you get AJ Duffy, so let's assume you bring in Duffy, you got Travis, Purdy, and Rodemaker. That's 4 quarterbacks. No, I don't think you need to go in the portal. Going in the portal would say, I don't know. It would send another wrong message to Travis at this point. At this point, if you're Mike, he's the only quarterback you've been able to get wins out of. At this point, Mike, you rock with Jordan Travis until Duffy or Purdy is ready. I'm not ready to give up on Purdy. I've been saying. Somebody said Gruden just stepped down. Is that true? Hold on. Yes, he did. I just got it too. Hold on. Breaking. John Gruden resigns. I don't know if y'all can see that. Bad business. Bad business. John Gruden resigns. No more portal QB. Something's been telling Milton has been helping. Of course, that was one of the great things about bringing in Milton. Now, don't get me wrong. I was saying start him because I'm kind of like the passing game opens up everything, right? But one of the other things we always said about Milton was he's gonna bring a level of leadership and understanding to the quarterback room. He can teach these guys how to read a field. Understand your playbook. Understand how to watch tape and what to watch when you're watching tape. I think Milton has been essential in the growth of Jordan Travis and probably all the quarterbacks. Again, I haven't been talking about Purdy because I don't want to get Purdy and put him in situations to ruin him, but I'm also not giving up on Chubba Purdy. Chubba Purdy is going to be a factor in the years to come. I still believe. I'm not saying he'll be the starter. I'm not saying he's better than Duffy. Travis is going to go into next year as the starter again, but Duffy and Purdy are going to fight for that second string. Yeah, he just resigned. I read where De'Aaron King is having surgery. Don't tell me I heard that him and Manny had a conversation about a medical red shirt. I didn't hear anything official about it. Gruden without a job before Urban. Well, hey, if you guys didn't watch the Dave Chappelle's news special, he said an interesting line in that special. He said, "If you want to know why John Gruden just resigned, He said you can talk. He said basically you can shoot a black man, kill him. No big deal. Once you make a joke about somebody in the LGBT community, your career's done. Those emails consisted of some racist remarks, but I guarantee you it's the homophobia that got him. The homophobic remarks that got him fired. But we don't have to get into that. But I'm telling you, that's what happened. Gruden to USC. That might happen. I don't know how much of a head college coach Gruden could be, but that would be interesting. Hey, who did I bet the Jacks? Who did I bet about? Was that? I think that was Antonio. FSU Tony, man. You need to get in here. I'm pretty sure I bet you preseason that not only would Jacksonville suck, but you said they would win the division. That's what you said. You might as well go ahead and send me my bottle of Hennessy right now. Because, man, them boys might not win a game this year. I told you Urban would be a disaster. Told you Urban would be a disaster. Send me my bottle. Brandon B says, yep, you better not say a word about the LGBT. Bruh, I'm trying to tell you. And Dave, again, if you didn't watch Dave Chappelle, go watch it. He said them exact words. You can do what you want to any other ethnic group of people. Once you say something about a gay person in this country, it's over. It's over. Not saying I have anything against anybody. I'm just, just speaking a little bit of the fact. That's all. They fired Gruden for those emails. That's why he resigned. And of course, they said he resigned, not that he got fired. POLK is a great YouTuber. I just have a hate and love for the Noles. Hate them and love to see them lose. is eyeing Kellen Moore. Are they going to cut AB for calling the Raiders GM? I mean, I don't know. I couldn't tell you. I have my own opinions on that word, but I won't get into them right here. But I will ask you. I don't know. I'll leave it alone. Never mind. I won't go there. Who tried to cancel Dave Chappelle? It's not working. The transgenders community tried to cancel him. The GOAT, by the way, Dave Chappelle is the GOAT. They might as well change cities and change the name. Jags will never be good. Not hiring Urban Meyer. I never thought Urban was going to be successful in Jacksonville. He's not NFL. He's like Nick Saban. These guys flourish in situations where they are total control because they're coaching kids. Hard to have total. You can have total control like a Bill Belichick, but grown men are a little bit different beast when you're used to kids' personalities. LOL. Black coaches get fired. White coaches part ways. Mutual decisions. He's a college coach, Urban Meyer. Yeah, I wholeheartedly agree. He's a college coach, and I always thought he wasn't a head coach. So, 100% agree there. That's crazy though. Raiders have parted ways with Coach Gruden. Do you think Jimbo could do a good job in the NFL someday? I don't know. Jimbo's a play caller. So my thing with Jimbo is he's a little older. I don't know if he's gonna want to go to the NFL and prove his play calling a bit. Like, how many NFL coaches, head coaches, also call the plays, right? It doesn't really happen in the NFL like that. So I don't know. I think had he decided earlier in his career to take the leap, I think he could have been successful. I do think he could have been successful because I think the way Jimbo calls a football game is very tailored to the NFL game. I said that when he was at Florida State. Like, he was the only college coach that utilizes fullbacks and things. His play calling is very tailored to the NFL game. The problem now is that he's older, and I don't see him taking a step back to be an OC. Now, I'm not saying an NFL team wouldn't give him an opportunity, but Jimbo makes his money calling plays. And again, could somebody tell me of a NFL head coach that also calls plays? Because I can't think of one. If we lose out, would you still take Urban? If we lose out and we're 2, yeah. All this goodwill that I'm been giving this team right now in this hour and 40 minutes, yeah, you lose out if you want to. Man, Gruden is not racist, although he was handed a championship team in Tampa. He just has privilege. I'm not saying the man's racist. Quite frankly, I didn't even look at the emails he sent. Like, I didn't dig into the story. I've always said this about people. We live in a society now where everybody pretends like they have such a high moral code. To be frank, if you look through a lot of people's emails or how they just talk amongst friends, you'd probably be calling half of the people in the chat racist or sexist or whatever the hell, right? If we're just being real. I tend to judge people how I know them once I get to know them. Whether Gruden's a racist or not, I don't know. The man, I don't know. Emails like that are never going to be a good look. And in today's society, people are going to judge you. People will judge you as if they've never even said a cuss word in their life. So that's not me pleading for Gruden or giving Gruden a pass. I'm just saying. I think you could probably dig up a million emails of a million different people and find something if you wanted to. The UM squad is full of Carl Nasseps. Pittsburgh Friday at older age, and his big head, arrogant son of a gun can't make it either. I said Steve Spurrier, Sean McVay, Andy Reid. I don't think Andy doesn't. No, Andy does call his plays. You're right. You're right about Andy. I forgot about Andy. Andy definitely calls his plays. Does McVay call his plays? Okay. Fair enough. Andy definitely calls his plays. Randy Shannon, Florida State Knicks. I hope not. He's not. I hope not. Now, if you want him to coach linebackers, I'm all for that. If you're going to make a DC move, man, get me a legit DC. I don't think Randy's there. I'm not saying he doesn't deserve to be on this staff. I love the South Florida connections with Randy, but not as my full-time DC. Why can't we get Buck? I don't know. Maybe they don't want T-Buck. My personal pan today, society are oversensitive about everything. 1A cancel. Yeah, they try to cancel everybody for everything. What up, Randy? Fuller ain't a good DC. Fuller is a defensive genius. You better stop. Neither is Shannon. Please, God, just get rid of Marv. You want to? That Marv hire is pretty. That Marv hire. Look, I haven't said much about Odell, because his position. I mean, Malcolm Ray played very well. Fabian Lovett has been a monster. Robert Cooper has been very good. Briggs was doing great before his position group has been playing well. He still needs to pick it up on the trail, but his position group has played so outstanding this year. They're playing like the group that we were supposed to see. Ain't that crazy? What we're seeing this year is the group we were supposed to see with Marvin Wilson and Corey Durden last year. And what we're seeing this year is that group. So shout out to Odell. But the two coaches that Well, there's three coaches in my opinion that you said Marv, and I agree with you. But there's three coaches that if you said who do you really want, like if you had to fire a coach, if you got your pick of a coach you had to fire, Marv's on top. Marv, it's a tough decision between between Marv, Fuller, and Dugans. I think Dugans needs to go as well. And I actually like Ron, but man, the proof is in the pudding with not only recruiting, but how your unit performs on Saturdays. Subpar, to be kind. So pick your choice of Dugans, Marv, or Fuller. Right now, I'm still leaning toward, if I had to pick one coach, it's Adam Fuller. I think a good DC could maybe make up for some of Marv's deficiencies. I think a good DC can make up for that. But either Dugans, Marv, or Fuller. According to Tom, this man has a vendetta against. Hope Tom and Hawk Nation don't hope you guys don't think I don't like you. I have no ill will towards Tomahawk Nation. I'm just reading the comments. But according to Tomahawk Nation, Fuller is a defensive mastermind. Now, I said all that to say I have watched one of those X's and O's and I kind of turned it off midway through. Not saying they don't know what they're talking about, but I will agree with you there, No Squad. They do a lot of capping over there. They say things that I'm like, what is he showing? But whatever. If you have a game similar defensively and keeps getting a little better, he did against North Carolina, you guys have the rest of the season. Does he keep his job? Fuller needs to go. The linebacker looked good when Gain and Deloach were side by side. I think a lot of guys are expecting Odell to retire soon. I keep hearing that too. Get off Odell's nuts. Dugans needs to go. He just can't develop his guys. We have no wide receiver play. I'm with you there. Dugans for sure. Marv probably. Fuller could save his job. How about saying he's going to? Again, Fuller's on top of my list. I'm just going to be honest with you. Fuller's on the top of my list. But Dugans would be second, and Marv is third. And the only reason Marv is third because I think if you get the right D coordinator, you can mask some of Marv's problems. But Marv's still recruiting. Marv is the worst recruiter out of those guys. I might actually change Marv to top. Marv is a terrible recruiter. That hurts even more in some aspects because there's not a lot of talent in that linebacker room. Dugans can at least recruit. Dugans can recruit. He just doesn't seem to be able to develop. I don't think Marv can recruit or develop. I'm not even sure he can develop, to be honest with you. P-Dub would be a great wideout coach. Dugans hasn't developed not one. Odell does that more than just coach the D-line. Odell is here to stay. Okay. If you get rid of Dugans, how do you feel about Yak taking that spot? I want him to stay. Yak's been great. If you're gonna bring Yak over to the receivers, okay, but you got to replace him at running back, and our running backs have been the bright spot, the bright spot of this team. So be careful with that. Be careful with that. But Yak has been great. Yak's got to stay on the staff. Tomahawk Nation has this staff nuts deep. It's like he's kissing just their Discord and say no fan one was right. Please do it. Peter Ward at wide receiver coach. Do you think the defensive staff will hurt our chances do you think if you got rid of Woodson for sure? If you got rid of Woodson for sure, obviously that's been the common link, right? Is Woodson. That's been the common link with Hunter. But I don't think Woodson would care if Marv or even Adam Fuller. I've said this before about Adam Fuller. The prospects do tend to say nice things about him. They always like Fuller's my guy. I also think they watched Saturday and wouldn't be shocked or pissed if Fuller was pushed out the door. And I've said that before. That's what I was just saying, Jeff. The recruits do seem to like Adam Fuller. But again, I also believe that they watch the defense and they're kind of like, nah, leave Yak where he's at. His guys are performing for sure. Move Yak to receiver and bring in Jawan Sater. I'm not familiar with him. Where's he coach at? I'll be honest with you. I'm not familiar with him. Honestly, Woodson doesn't seem that good as a coach. The DBs aren't good. That's a fair assessment. Again, I think it all starts with the defensive coordinator. That's just my personal opinion. No Squad, you're the guy that watches Uncle Lou, right? Norvell isn't going to fire his buddy Fuller. Well, that could ultimately lead to Norvell's downfall. What about our special teams coach? They haven't been that good. Well, JP coaches two things. He coaches our DNs and our special teams. And our defensive ends have been performing very well. And not just the top two guys, not just the two transfers, but McClendon and Quayshawn Fuller have had very good seasons so far this year. But I agree with you. The special teams have been lackluster. I said that last week. I don't understand why Travis J can't find a way onto the I can't understand why Travis J can't find a way into the secondary. So why not throw him at receiver? He's very good at the jump ball. Hell, you see it every game when the team tries a Hail Mary. Jay always gets his hands on the football. He could have had a pick Saturday. For whatever reason, he decided to bat it. I don't know why, but he could have had another pick. He's the Hail Mary god. When you call a Hail Mary, just put Travis J back there. He's going to pick the ball off. Why we didn't do it against Jacksonville State, hey, that's a whole nother question for a whole nother day. Juwan Sider is the running back coach at Penn State. And was it okay. I feel like if we go out and make a big move at DC and they bring their guy. Well, I think if you're Mike, you go into that saying, look, I don't mind you bringing in your guys to the new DC. Woodson goes nowhere. You find some. Woodson's not going anywhere. I don't think that's that hard to kind of figure out. Thoughts on Brian Robinson entering the portal? I talked about that way early in the show, and I don't like it. I'm not going to pretend like it's not a big deal to me. We had some people in the chat saying it's not a big deal. He didn't do anything here anyway. And while I don't disagree that he didn't do anything, when you're talking about a team, a position group that lacks top end talent, that lacks playmakers, I feel like Brian Robinson could have been that. But I seem to be off on my wide receiver evaluations because I thought Warren Thompson was the next freaking Kelvin Benjamin. I'm not literally, but you guys know what I mean. And you saw how that ended up for us. So every time I think a wide receiver is going to be any good, they kind of disappoint me. Ain't that something? What up, Peter? To build a championship defense, you need 5 Telvin Smiths, 2 LaMarcus Joyners, 3 Jalen Ramseys, and 4 Tim. I mean, if you got that, then the DB's been hurt a lot too. I believe Travis J's 100%. At least he's better. He hurt his ankle. Who would you like to be our DC if you have to pick? I don't have an answer. I would have to like the one of the guys that I would love. He's at Notre Dame. Names like Charlie Strong kind of always come out there, but Charlie Strong's getting a little bit older. I will say Muschamp, who's over there. I think he's just an off the field coach over there at Georgia right now. If you could tell me I could get Muschamp tomorrow, I'd take him. And the fact that he's an off the field coach, I would take Muschamp in a minute. Dan Lanning, again, how much of that defense is Dan Lanning really calling? I feel like that's more of Kirby Smart's defense over there. So if you could convince Lanning that you're going to come over here and not only are you going to be my D coordinator, but you're going to have full reign of that defense, maybe you can try to pull that off. So those will kind of be the two guys that I would lean towards right now, Lanning and Muschamp. I think, and both are on Georgia's staff. So that's kind of where I would go right there. Mike said Mike Elko. Yeah, but Mike Elko's not leaving A&M. So, I don't think that's feasible. Jimbo needed that win against Bama because things were starting to look. I agree with that. Muschamp has always been he's always been a good D coordinator. So I would take Muschamp in a minute. But man, we went 2 hours. You can keep Pruitt, bro. Pruitt got too much baggage at this point. But the way that thing ended at Tennessee, I think Pruitt and the way it ended here, quite frankly, he would never come back here. He got caught cheating on his wife out down here, so he would never come back here. So, not so much there. And also, you kind of got to go back and really look at Jeremy Pruitt and say, what defense did Jeremy Pruitt ever build? I don't knock Pruitt too much. He was a D coordinator on a championship-winning team, but I stand by this, and I'm going to continue to stand by it. Mark Stoops built that defense. I know DF is about to have something to say about this. Mark Stoops built that defense. Pruitt took over a ready-made product. Then he goes to Georgia and he takes over ready-made defenses. Then he goes to Bama and takes over ready-made defenses. Like, show me the defense that Jeremy Pruitt really ever built. You really can't. Yep, mine King. We saw Gruden got he resigned. And I wouldn't mind seeing Harlan Barnett. See, told DF is gonna say something crazy. DF gonna say something crazy. To be fair, I would take Harlan Barnett right now over Adam Fuller. We saw when Willie got fired, Harlan Barnett run the defense and not be forced to run a 3-4 and run the defense he wanted, and that defense looked drastically better on Harlan Barnett's way out. We saw that. Just saying. If I get Mark Stoops, I want him as my head football coach, not my D coordinator. The hell with that. I want him as my head coach. Do you not see what Kentucky's doing? And I think that Kentucky and Georgia game this week is going to be a slobber knocker, as the good old JR used to say. Or he still says. JR still calls wrestling. I don't know if you get any wrestling fans in here, but I think you got one of the better O-lines against the best defensive line. Some people I think Kentucky has maybe the best O-line in football. I'm interested to see that game. I'm not picking Kentucky to win it because that's an away game for them. Between the hedges over there in Athens is going to be rocking. But I think that Kentucky team matches up a lot better than what people think. That's my humble opinion there. I think that Kentucky team matches up a lot better. Pruitt just ran Stoops' defense. Yep, agreed there. Again, Tomahawk Nation doesn't give Stoops credit. They give it that's garbage. Did you not watch the defense? Again, 2012 is the biggest missed opportunity, one of the biggest missed opportunities in Florida State history. That 2012 team was so loaded, and the defense had the same defense from 2013. Oh, but add Xavier Rhodes and Tank Carradine and Bjorn Warner to the 2012 defense. For some reason, I love Knowles is great. I think Knowles has a bright future. Georgia's going to punish Kentucky. I mean, I could see it, but I could also see Kentucky keeping that thing close, man. Everybody thinks Georgia's going to blow Kentucky out. Y'all, I know y'all might be a little bit surprised. But we went 2 hours, man. I'm gonna call it a wrap here. Thanks everybody who showed up. If you came in late, man, just rewind that bad boy and start from the beginning. But hit that like button on the way out if you didn't hit on the way in. But I think all y'all rang my doorbell this time, so I think we looking good there on the like button. You will be able to check this one out. Haven't done this in a while, but Podbean, Spotify, I'm going to download this episode on there right high and by. I'm going to download this episode right after this. And DF, stop being a hater. I'll be out then. Wish me luck. Okay. But yeah, man, thanks everybody that come through. This was episode 37 of The Hangover. Hadn't done one of these in a while, but it felt good to get back in here and do a hangover. And it's a bye week, so I really don't know. I don't know if I'm gonna go live Saturday. I might not. Y'all, yeah, I was just answering that question. I don't know what I'm gonna do Saturday or the rest of this week, with it being a bye week. But I might just go live and touch base with y'all. And we can talk about something, or we can just talk about college sports in general, college football. I'll see what I got planned. But as always, man, keep your head up, Seminoles, and stay classy. And before we get out of here, Jeff says, not so fast, my friend. The $20 banger from my man, Jeff. Thank you so much, Jeff. Jeff, you're going to get a free gift from me because you donate too much money. I got to give you something. And I got to make it worth it.
My name is Jeff.
But again, man, appreciate you guys. It's your boy POLK over here on 863 Seminole TV. Stay classy and keep your head up, Seminoles. And we got you. Go Noles.